this is us. Price of Fred.
It's the price of
Fred.
Fred.
Yeah, exactly. So Rich and I were discussing about cancel culture, and we've got we're chatting with 5 Times August soon, and High Race and some other people. But we were thinking about who could we talk to about the cancel culture, and then I suddenly said to Richard, "Well, we've been cancelled a lot. Maybe
So let's talk to him.
Maybe we should talk to us."
Yeah.
So I thought that the way this is going to work is I'm going to chat with Rich because he sort of had the brunt of being cancelled, and this goes back quite a long way for us. This goes back to 91 when I'm Too Sexy broke. So we just thought we'd have a short chat, won't be as long as usual, won't be playing videos, just a quick chat, just to go through some of the cancel culture that we've experienced. So right, let's go back to 91.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you came out in I think July or August 1991, quite publicly, didn't you?
We're forced to.
Yes, yeah,
Because of the band.
Yeah, you were forced to because the press and. But what was interesting is that the record label, as I remember, tell me if I'm wrong, because you were getting more of this than I was.
Yeah.
But you and Stuart were sort of cancelled as a couple because you were told by the record label not to be seen together at certain events. Is that right?
Yeah, we had to. We weren't allowed in the same car if we arrived at an event of some kind.
Right. Okay.
One thing to say about this is that the expression cancel culture is actually quite new.
It is, yeah.
Back in those days,
I don't remember
there was no such thing as cancel culture.
No.
There was just a kind of, I don't know, it's almost like an unwritten thing that you can do this and you can't do that.
Yeah, they didn't really give it a name, did they?
No, and also with the gay thing, it was to do with marketing. The belief was that all our fans were women and straight, and
they'd be horrified.
That would be horrified.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've been with Stuart by the time the band broke. I've been with Stuart for about 10. Hold on, we met in 82, so 82. Yeah, 9-10 years. So it was part of, and we were living together and had a home and everything else, and the 2 cats and a dog. And so it was weird to suddenly be thrown into this world where you suddenly had to hide what you had been for 10 years.
Yeah, well, I
that was weird, but we didn't have the cancel culture wasn't an expression.
No, it wasn't. It was just it was don't do that, or you'll. I remember our record label ringing us up saying, if you don't do this, you'll never work again.
That's right, exactly. John Lennon was told the same thing back in 1961.
Yeah. And it was weird because we were signed to an independent label, so you think independent thinking comes with an independent label. It actually doesn't at all. So what happened is that we'll sort of try and encapsulate these events. So you as a couple were sort of cancelled in terms of, and I remember the record
being visible.
Yes, I remember the record labels having similar conversations with me about can I have a word in your ear sort of thing, which I never did.
Yeah.
So then moving on, you had a TV show. You were involved in a TV show called Gay Time.
That's right, yeah, with Ronan Cameron.
Which was BBC.
BBC 2.
Which was aimed at the gay community.
Yes, it was in the days when BBC believed that it had a remit to fill. It doesn't seem to do that anymore.
No. But I mean, the gay community, I think it's a stupid expression. It's like saying the straight community. I don't think. It's just a bunch of straight people and a bunch of gay people.
Yes, I've never believed there is any such thing as a gay community.
Right.
There's just lots of gay people living their lives.
Yeah, because Stuart got cancelled, didn't he? He got cancelled from certain jobs because he was HIV.
Yeah, well, back in the day with HIV, there was so much ignorance about how it was transmitted.
Yeah.
That he was sacked from BT, I think, because people wouldn't touch his keyboard.
Right.
And I remember at Pineapple Dance Studios, people had to take their own aerobic mats.
Right.
For fear of catching it and all that kind of stuff. So that level of paranoia, which I think is echoed with this whole COVID thing, is the same kind of thing.
It is, yeah. That's true.
And the also back in the day, of course, the level of cynicism that I personally have now about people like Fauci and Gates didn't exist. So I believe that all the treatments and the warnings and stuff were meant to help, actually, meant to sort of assist people. But of course, exactly. Now I look back, I realise that it was just a game.
Yeah, exactly. Same BS, different day.
Yeah.
So just to return to Gay Time. So Gay Time was a show aimed at the gay community, for want of a better word. BBC 2, was it?
Yeah, BBC 2. I can't remember what day it was. Around about 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and you did it with Ronan Cameron.
Ronan Cameron,
right? Who's gay? She gay?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
right. Okay.
yeah.
So, but that ran a couple of years, and then the BBC pulled that, didn't they?
Yes.
And why did they cancel that?
Well, I don't really know. You'd have to ask them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, the viewing numbers, because of the lateness of the broadcast, weren't great.
Right.
And I think that one of the things I seem to remember at the time was that when it was BBC were tackled on cancelling that programme, the BBC's defence was that gay issues will be covered in other dramas.
Oh, did they? That was
their position, as I understand it.
Okay.
And obviously that's a little nonsense.
Right. Now with did you find, if I remember right, I know if I remember right, I know this happened. Did you find that gay artists or people who seen as gay didn't want to come on the show because it was wrong for their demographic?
We had a music slot in the show, and it was very hard to get artists, even artists that were out.
Really,
very hard to get artists, music artists on there because it was too. I suppose the branding was too strong in a way.
Right.
When Boy George was talking about he'd rather have a cup of tea than have sex or something ridiculous. And back in the day, there was so much dancing around the issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with bands. We had, well, strangely enough, the bands that did come on the show tended to be straight bands.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
brilliant.
Or artists where their image was a little bit playful,
androgynous,
and a little bit androgynous in the middle. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that got pulled.
Yeah.
Then where were we? Sort of think. So basically.
Then we had Up Too Sexy.
Well, no, Up Too Sexy was before that.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But we as a band got cancelled from Britpop cancelled us out, so we started working abroad.
Yeah,
and we didn't. I'm trying to think in America or Germany or those places we worked a lot. I don't remember any sort of cancel culture happening there. I don't remember us being the press. The gay thing wasn't an issue, was it?
Well, I remember we were in Chicago, I think, with our tour manager at the time in a lift.
Right.
And the music came. The radio station was broadcasting, came through into the lift, and it was Queen. Freddie Mercury.
Right.
And he had just died, I think.
So this was like 19.
Yeah. And our tour manager said this station wouldn't play Queen ever.
Right.
But now he's dead, it's okay.
Okay, he was pretty angry about that.
Yeah, he was very angry about that. So I think
that implies there was cancelled culture.
Pet Shop Boys had the same thing in America, I think. So
and I think Boy George may have done.
And that's improved a lot. I've got to say, people are much more relaxed about it now.
Yeah, they are.
And
as far as I can tell.
And we met two people last night who had been together for 4 years, and they're going to get married. And it's
Sam and Sam, wasn't it?
Sam and Sam, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah,
right. So then we just quickly wind, because this isn't going to be a long interview. It's just sort of trying to looking back how you and us have been cancelled sort of along the way. We obviously, as a band, we obviously got cancelled because we were always independent, and we stayed away. We weren't included in the sort of BPI, which is the British Phonographic Industry, I think. There's a bit of a gang of them, and we were never included in that. So we were sort of cancelled by the Brits and the Mercury Awards and subsequent events because we weren't part of that little sort of cartel. So then, winding right forwards to, let's say, 2020, we know full well how we got cancelled because we had the audacity to speak out. And that was weird, wasn't it? Because we didn't realise we were speaking out. We thought having an opinion and voicing it was okay.
Yes.
We didn't think it was going to be this such a big deal. And also, I think what we thought was that we'll be the smallest band speaking out because obviously Rage Against the Machine and Springsteen and other people seem to be awake, for want of a better word, weren't going to buy into this sort of this bullying and this coercion, but we suddenly found it was us and Van Morrison and Jim Corr and Ian Brown, and Clapton and High Res and 5 Times August. Basically a handful of us, really. So that was pretty weird. And what's interesting in recent, this year, because we had a book out, we've actually been cancelled. And when I say cancelled, I'm not just by people who said, "Oh, we don't want your book," and you can argue they have that every right to say we don't.
No, they don't.
We don't want to stock that book. That's fine. But when they book you, which HMV did, then cancel you. And when they book you, like Louder Than Words Festival did, then cancel you. That is the cancel culture, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Alive and well.
Yeah, we've got into a weird place. I mean, I think my personal feeling is we've become obsessed with the efficacy or otherwise of this vaccine. And there are all sorts, depending on who you read, you can come up with a different decision, a different opinion. My problem with the whole thing has been that so many millions of people have forgotten the basic principle of freedom of choice. That's my thing. They've forgotten that people have the right to disagree. People have the right to have a different opinion. And to see some artists, as we have, wagging their finger at the camera, saying "Be cool, get the jab."
Yeah.
To hear the Queen, rest of soul, talking in terms of it being selfish if you don't. This was, to me, disgusting. It was absolutely revolting, and it played into this whole what I think is almost like a kind of, I wouldn't say woke. It's not particularly woke, but it's just this agenda whereby if you don't agree with the main narrative, if you step outside the box, you will find yourself cancelled and deplatformed and everything else. So
what's weird is that the bullying, if we speak out, or not us, but if you speak against the narrative, you get cancelled. But if you use the mainstream media to coerce and bully like Jeremy Vine does, that's fine. Yes, that's deemed to be okay.
Yeah, I think it's when you realise the Guardian, for example, that gets money from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you realise that so much of the MSM is unreliable. We now have GPs being paid extra money to accelerate the booster shots for the elderly this winter. Nothing can be trusted. You can't trust your GP. You can't trust the NHS.
Seemingly can't. It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. So a lot of these agencies have been corrupted by a government that insists on pushing its narrative all the time.
Interestingly, what's with the cancel culture, the two obvious standout organisations that have embraced us and not cancelled us, which we'd like to thank them for, is WH Smith, who've been very supportive,
who've been amazing,
and the Broadcast Music Inc., which is the BMI. We attended their awards, which was actually last night.
I got a bit drunk.
Yes, you did. And but it's interesting because they could both those people, both those bodies platforms could have cancelled us with the same sort of.
They will next year, I'm sure. After my behaviour last night.
Well, maybe not. I'm sure they've seen worse. So just quick winding up. When you and Stuart were together, did you ever feel, I wouldn't say cancelled, but did you ever feel supported by the, there's this sort of pink mafia, isn't there, within entertainment? You've got Boy George, Elton John, and Eddie Izzard, and
well, it's not the gay thing.
No, it's not gay. That's my mistake. But and Holly Johnson, and you've got this sort of hierarchy, if you like, with this. I don't ever remember you guys being invited into that inner sanctum.
No, we weren't.
Right. No. Do you think you were just ignored, your face didn't fit, or you were actually purposely cancelled or swerved around?
I don't know. I mean, I was with Stuart for 28 years, and for 27 of those years, he was HIV positive.
Yep.
I would have thought we were a pretty good example, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, you would have thought so. But no, we didn't get invited to any events of any kind whatsoever. And when Stuart was ill, and as he was for many years, the only people that looked after him were straight people.
Well, as I remember,
apart from me.
I mean, as I remember, amongst your friends who were gay, they all kept a pretty wide berth.
Yeah, we didn't.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we didn't have obviously the social care people were as far as I can remember, none of them were gay. And Stuart's point of contact, the daily person that helped, a neighbour, was straight.
Yeah.
So the gay community at that point, and Stuart had worked for Stonewall actually.
Yes, that's right. I remember that. Was he sacked or
I don't know. I think he was just unwell.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, as far as I remember.
Right.
But there was no support network.
None
at all. No. So, which is why I've never really bought into this community thing.
No.
I just don't buy it. When Stuart was poorly, he had no assistance whatsoever from this so-called community.
That's what it is.
No. Yeah. So it was all people like me and neighbours.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
We have, yes. Apart from, of course, a movie we've been working on.
Oh, yes.
For the last 6 years.
That's true. There's the projects we've been covering. What am I talking about?
I don't know.
Sorry. And also, just very quickly, there was we were cancelled from 2 commercials.
Yes.
cancelled from a songwriting session, and we weren't going to sit down with these people. We were actually we were writing, online.
This was
And these two guys in LA,
California,
yeah, and they cancelled us because of our political position on masks, whatever the fuck that is. And then we've been working for years. We've been working on this film, which had a working title of Shooting Star.
Yeah,
and that's now been pulled because of our position.
Well, the people
because apparently our extreme position.
Yeah,
our opinions.
Basically, the position was we've been working with 2 other people on this movie, and the script was all finished.
Yep.
2 people came on board and said that they would provide the financing. They said they would. We never actually saw the money, but they said they would provide the financing, which was several million pounds, providing Fred and I made ourselves completely invisible from the project, which included no talking on social media.
That's right, gagging order.
It was a complete gagging order.
Yeah.
And our position was, the other 2 people had put some work in, and it wasn't fair to rob them of the movie. But we were absolutely determined to belt and braces this. If we were going to be excluded from the movie in every respect, we wanted compensation. We wanted to be absolutely sure that we were going to get treated properly financially. In the end, no agreement was arrived at. So the script is still there, and we are anxious to find people who would like to read it and put some money into the movie. It's a black comedy. It's very funny. And Toby, who worked with us on the script, did a lot of really good work. The original script is the one that we believe in, not the rewrite,
not the diluted
one, though. So if there's anybody out there watching with £10 million in their back pocket, please get in touch.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. I haven't forgotten, but just getting erased from the movie, that was mad.
It was quite extraordinary. And these 2 people who were demanding this, the 2 financiers, had never spoken to us.
No,
ever.
No,
we never got a call. We never got anything.
Email. No.
They had just been reading Twitter or Getter or whatever it was, and decided.
Well, I think they'd been reading the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail.
Yeah.
And had the arrogance to presume that because we didn't agree with them, they could treat us like a couple of idiots. Yeah. And we weren't prepared to do that.
That is mad, isn't it? And also, when you just quickly focus on the last sort of 2.5 years, 30 months, 2.5 years. Yeah. That is quite mad because loads of shows cancelled. Some of the shows being cancelled, we were involved as well because we wouldn't play the game. They wanted us to get jabbed and stuff. We wouldn't. But the commercials, the writing session, and then the movie. That's pretty mad. But having said that, we were at the BMI Awards. Everyone was lovely, and we've been doing some W.H. Smith book signings.
Lovely. I got drunk.
That was cool, and we're out again doing some promo. In fact, we're talking to festivals and promoters for next year. Yeah. So maybe there's a balance coming.
We just have to remember that no matter what happens in the world, the fundamental reality is you have you. That's all you have.
That's all we have. Yeah.
That's all you have. You have your body and you. And you must think very hard about what's the word, endangering that in any way at all. And the state does not have control. This is not China. The state does not have control over your body, and you have to resist that as much as you can.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, we covered everything.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Excellent.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's just thought we'd have a quick chat.
Yeah.
Share it with you.
Don't forget the money.
Yeah. All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.